Download the free Gun Dealio app to your smartphone. Find out about the latest deals and news on guns and gear. Includes the latest Gun Talk podcast and Gun Talk videos. That's Gun Dealio on the App Store and Google Play.
#1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Hey, here's a news flash. This is, I actually like this. The Humane Society of the United States, the Better Business Bureau, has just removed accreditation for them for their shady practices in fundraising and how they spend their money. We've known this for years. The HSUS is not your local Humane Society. It's not the group that spays and neuters cats and dogs. It is an anti-hunting, anti-gun group that works on the confusion that people have because it has Humane Society in its name. The head guy, Wayne Pacelli, and another one there, left in January after allegations about sexual improprieties. I'm just delighted. I mean, this is a bad group. HSUS, in my view, is a bad group. I'm really glad to hear the BBB, Better Business Bureau, has said, nah, you guys don't have accreditation anymore. I wish more people would wake up to who these guys really are. You know, in the world of optics, there have been some O-line companies for a long time, and then there are some that have come along in the last 10, 15, 20 years that are cutting a wide swath. One of those names right now, if you go out and ask somebody about optics for your rifle, for your pistol, for hunting, the name's going to pop up within the first 30 seconds is going to be Vortex. Joining me right now is Mark Boardman from Vortex Optics. Hey, Mark, welcome to Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. No, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. For those who just have been in a cave, tell them, where did Vortex come from?
You know, so it's kind of an interesting story and definitely, a few different components. The owner of the company has more than 20 years of experience in the optics industry in one facet or another, and I'll kind of give you guys the short version. But kind of started with a birding store with a retail component that sold optics, which evolved into starting a proprietary line of optics for that franchise of birding stores, which evolved into a retail store that specialized in optics itself. So, and they sold everybody's optics from what are now our competitors to at one time ours as well. And Vortex was really born out of those experiences of being on both the retail and the manufacturing side, and it kind of gave unique perspectives. And like I said, Vortex was kind of born out of that experience with a desire to hopefully do things better.
Well, when you meet somebody and you're trying to tell them about Vortex, and of course, Lord knows, I mean, and I've been an optics nut for a long, long time. Crazy guy. I came out of the photography world and love optics and scopes, binoculars, and everything. There are a ton of companies making sports optics. How does Vortex differentiate itself? How do you tell people this is what we do, this is where we are in the marketplace?
I think that there's a couple things, and one, probably major thing. We really focus in every I guess touch point of our company. We focus on our customers, and that's from product development to taking care of our customers before, during, and after any sales. So a big one there is our warranty, and it truly is a lifetime, unconditional, no fault, transferable warranty. No matter how it happened or the cause, if a person has an issue with one of our optics, we're going to take care of them, and so that includes repair or replacement of any optic.
Okay, well now, obviously you got rifle scopes, red dots, rangefinders, binoculars, spotting scopes. I mean, you really have the full line of optics for competition for hunting, self-defense, and I'm sure there's a lot of tactical guys that are using your products now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you nailed another big one right there, Tom, and that's, we definitely have a deep lineup of optics, everything from, the hunting side to, for lack of a better term, the tactical side. And within, I guess, those two different facets, we have, a solid, good, better, best. So, and I guess, because of that and because of our, we work hard at within each one of those tiers to provide a level of quality and value to the customers to where if they spend $1 with Vortex, we want to make sure that they're spending, getting the best optic for their money.
So you can get a middle-priced, you don't make really low price, but a middle-priced optic, or you can spend a lot for the very high-end stuff you guys have, right?
Yeah, you can. So, you take rifle scopes, for instance. If you've got $200 to spend on an optic, my gosh, we want to make it the best, $200 you ever spent. And, on the opposite end of the spectrum, or on the other end, I should say, if you've got $2,500 to spend on an optic and you're looking for a top-tier, long-range, precision shooting rifle scope, we've got that for you as well.
All right, pick two things. If you said, hey, I got to tell you about two things we've done recently, products, which two things would you just grab from the vault and hand to me and say, you got to see these two?
Oh boy! Now you're challenging me.
I know. I will just tell you the one I've been scoping out while we're talking. I'm on your website. I'm looking at the Crossfire Red Dot. I'm just going, I want to throw that on a 1022 or something. That looks awesome.
So and that's a good one. Actually, it's a great one. So that's new this year. So and it's come out of the gate hot. Yep, as you mentioned, it's Crossfire Red Dot. It's a very lightweight, compact dot. It's going to complement your AR or your 1022. It's super tough, super durable. We've tested the heck out of it. It comes with two mounts, so you're going to have an AR height mount, or you can use the low mount to mount it on a shotgun or a pistol.
Gotcha.
And I guess one thing that's really cool about it is that's one of those optics that a person can get into. And know that they're getting a quality product, but it's not going to kill them in their pocketbook because that's going to come in, sub $200, which is, like I said, it's just, like I said, we've run the heck out of it, and it's one we're super excited about, and it doesn't cost a whole lot of money.
Okay, all right, so that's one that just grabbed my attention. Pick another one to tell people just an example of what Vortex can do.
So I'll kind of stay in that tactical realm. And like I said, kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'd take a hard look, if you're looking to top your AR, at the Razor HD Gen 2E. Now, the Razor which is a 1:6 by 24. Now, we've had the original Razor HD Gen 2 1:6. We took that same scope this year, and we lightened it up by 1/4 pound. So that was kind of the one, piece of feedback that we got. The guys were saying, gosh, we wish this thing was just a tad lighter. Mm-hmm. And so we were able to take that 1/4 pound out without affecting any of the durability or quality. And it's just a really cool scope. The eye box is phenomenal. The optics are truly top tier. It's a 1-at-1 low profile cap turrets, and we're just really fortunate to have some very elite people running that scope, which is a feather in our cap, and we're honored to be able to help those guys do their job.
And that is my favorite magnification range. I love the 1 to 5, 1 to 6 area there because it just does so much. I mean, if you want to shoot something both eyes open at 5 feet, you can do it with that. But if you need to shoot it at 500 yards with a 6X, you can do the same thing.
You certainly can. No, I mean that's. If you're looking for ultimate versatility, those 1X variables are tough to beat.
Yeah, they really are. All right, so Vortex Optics, where are you guys located?
So we actually recently moved to our new headquarters in Barneville, Wisconsin. So if anybody is in the area, we welcome you to swing by.
Nice.
So it's been an awesome move, great community, and the new facility is going to really allow us to serve our customers even better.
That is terrific. Mark Boardman, Vortex Optics. Thank you so much. It's vortexoptics.com. You guys go check it out. They're making some good stuff. And like I say, I'm crazy for optics. I love them. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. Give me a call. We got. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to get it right to you when you come back. I promise. I know you've been on hold for a while, but we do have room for you if you'd like to join us. 866-TALK-GUN.
Legends aren't born legendary. They are proven legendary. Like the new FN 509 handgun. A direct result of over 1 million rounds of testing and a direct descendant of over 125 years of legendary FN firearms. The world's most battle-proven firearms. The FN 509. A legend in the making. Find out more at fnamerica.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or gundealio.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights and weapon-mounted lights right here in the U.S. From everyday carry flashlights with 1200 lumens and mil-spec hard anodized finishes to the most reliable weapon lights on the market for duty use or your home defense firearm. Surefire has what you need. American built, American strong. Visit surefire.com.
Vermont Governor Phil Scott may give up stock car racing after signing gun control bill laws. Yeah, here's a thought. Vermont Governor Phil Scott may put the brakes on his stock car racing hobby over concerns that his presence at the track will anger fans who disagree with his support for new gun control measures in the state. Said the 59-year-old Republican approved legislation this month that banned standard capacity magazines and bump stocks, raised the legal age to purchase a firearm to 21, and mandated universal, comprehensive, obtrusive, restrictive, reprehensible background checks. Yeah, you might not want to show up stock car racing, but it's not that he's afraid of being harmed, because we don't do that. Only the crazy leftist assassins do that. He just doesn't want to face critics. Okay. You're going to have to face him for re-election, dude. Good luck. Hope that works out well for you. Let's see here. Line 1, Bob's with us out of Texarkana, Texas. Bob, thank you for your patience.
All right. Hey, I'm not an attorney or have any legal background, but it would seem that this letter that the state of New York is going to send to these banks somehow might cross some, Federal Trade Commission, lines because, this interstate commerce,
Yeah. restraint of trade, some other things
yes,
there.
Sir.
Of course, you would have to get someone to pick up the ball and run with it from a law enforcement standpoint. And right now, I think all the FBI wants to do is investigate Donald Trump and Russia. So I don't know, and the DOJ certainly isn't, interested in going after the state as it tries to take away your gun rights, because I think the Department of Justice would be right in there with them, trying to push for a restriction on your gun rights. We have a problem, and one of our big problems is we're not getting nearly enough judges confirmed through Congress right now. We need to have 100, 200, 300 judges confirmed, because without that, we have nothing to fight the DOJ and the agencies and the states like New York, who are saying to companies, you probably just don't really want to be doing business with gun stores and gun manufacturers because, we regulate you guys, and we don't like those guys, so I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying a lot. I appreciate this. It's an interesting idea that could be restraint of trade, if nothing else. Line 4, Reverend Green, Palm Springs, California. Talk about this walkout on May the 2nd, student walkout. What's your take on that?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Good.
I find that, let's go back to the history. Civil rights era, when the black people were demonstrating, you always had a few wacko white people want to say, let's demonstrate for white rights. And then we had, during the Vietnam War, we had the anti-Vietnam War rallies. You'd have some reactionaries and be like, let's have a pro-Vietnam rally. Smacks to me of that, a desperate situation when he sees all these kids pro-gun control, and he wants to do one anti-gun control. Just laughable, the guy that you had on there earlier, 18 years old, but I felt like he was like 8 years old.
Okay, so you don't make much of it. Do you think that his position is starting at a bad place? Do you think it's just going to be ineffective? When you say laughable, I'm not sure I'm understanding what's laughable about it. If
he got hold of you guys, then he'd been talking to Fox News, and they hadn't covered it either. So I was surprised you put him on, because I thought maybe he'd been on Fox News first or something, but he hadn't, as he said on the interview.
What makes it laughable?
Because of the historical position. Like I said, civil rights era, you have some local yokel white people going, white rights, Vietnam War era, pro-Vietnam. And then you have these bunch of idiots going, pro-gun rights. Well, they're not trying to take away the gun rights. They're just trying to put some restrictions on gun situations.
Okay,
That's why I thought it was laughable about the Vermont guy. It didn't sound that unreasonable what the guy did.
Okay, so, let's talk about that. I think that'd be a good thing to talk about. Right now, you can vote at 18, but he's saying you should, and you can carry a gun at 18 if you're in the Marines, but he's saying you shouldn't be able to buy a gun until you're 21. What makes sense about that to you?
That sounds legitimate. If you can't drink until you're 21, you probably shouldn't be able to own a gun.
But you can vote at 18, and you can serve in the military at 18. So if you can serve in the military and drive a tank and carry a real machine gun, why shouldn't you be able to buy your hunting gun at age 19?
Well, the drinking thing is, I think, more legitimate, because the drinking thing could cause problems. The same thing with a gun. So I think that's more legitimate. The question of, if you can't drink until you're 21, you probably shouldn't be able to own a gun until you're 21. And you can't smoke legally until you're 21 either. You know that, right?
So in your mind, buying a gun is the same as drinking? I'm not following you here.
Because, again, something that could cause danger. That's what they're trying to say. Yeah.
But now,
I'm not a big pro-government restriction guy. I'm pro-marijuana, big time. That's why I'm Reverend. My name is Reverend Bud Green. I'm a pro-marijuana guy, but I have no problem with them saying you can't smoke it legally till you're 21.
Now you do understand that
the 21 egg.
You know that once you start legally using marijuana, you can no longer own a gun again in your life.
I hadn't heard that. Is that
law
in California?
That's federal law. Federal law. If you are a marijuana user, you may not own a gun, period.
Is that to apply to other drugs too, or what?
No, just marijuana.
You tell me that it doesn't apply to heroin or cocaine or something?
Well, other illegal drugs it does, but marijuana is marijuana is specific.
I'm not going to cry about it. If it applies to all the drugs, and I wouldn't say, big deal. If it's legal now in certain states, then I would actually say, that probably shouldn't be right. Then in the state where it's legal, you should be able to still own a gun. But it doesn't bother me either way.
Okay. So you're okay with that restriction on your rights?
Yourself, you're just too fixated on the gun. So you can own a gun, great. But does everybody have to own a gun? It's like that seems what you would want to do.
Let me ask you, has anybody ever said everybody ought to own a gun?
No, but I don't do the marijuana either. I say people should smoke marijuana, but I don't think everybody wants to smoke marijuana. It's up to their individual choice. I think it's the same thing.
If you want to smoke marijuana, I think that's fabulous. I have no problem. I think it should have been legalized years ago. We have way too many people serving time in prison for smoking grass, which is just stupid, okay? At the same time, nobody ever saves a life with marijuana. And we just had a CDC numbers come out, and 2.5 million times a year, every year, people use guns to save lives, to stop crime. 2.5 million times a year, 3.5 times more often than people use guns to commit crimes. So it would seem that there would be a net benefit to having guns, since so many people are using them effectively to stop crime and save people. Nothing?
No answer, right?
Nothing?
Where'd
you got nothing.
Stat? I didn't hear where'd you find that stat that it saves lives like that?
The Centers for Disease Control, not the NRA, the CDC studied this for decades, and the study just came out that they say that 2.5 million times a year, every year, year after year, people use firearms to stop crimes and protect themselves.
Boy, you would think you'd hear more stories about that, because
very rarely.
Like when you had the big shooting in Florida, the guy had a gun and he didn't have enough cojones to use it. The guy ran around and was hiding in the bag. That's probably more often that happens.
Wait. You're talking about a police officer.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So you think we ought to take the guns away from the cops?
No, but that's my point. It didn't save anybody in that situation. The guy had a gun. He was afraid to use it. And a lot of those shootings, they wait. How about the one in Las Vegas where they waited until after the guy had been done firing? Remember that one?
How about the one in Sulphur Springs, Texas, where a guy grabs his own AR-15, barefoot, runs in there and shoots the bad guy and saves all those people? What about that guy?
But I said 2.5 million? I would think you'd hear more stories. Come on. I think that's a bogus stat. I'm not buying it, buddy.
Well, here's the nice part about it. You don't have to buy it because it's a fact, because it's been documented by Gary Kleck, criminologist from Florida State University. It's been documented by other university-level studies. And now we have the Centers for Disease Control saying 2.5 million times a year people have used guns successfully in self-defense. You can believe it or not, but you know what? What you believe is irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. Now, you can go be smug somewhere else. I know you called in here to try to be smart and cute, and that was fun. But at the same time, kind of stopped him in his tracks when I said, by the way, if you're a legal marijuana user, you can't buy a gun. Ooh, really? Huh. Gee. Yeah, not fair, not right, but there it is, okay? 2.5 million times a year, people use guns to stop crime and defend themselves. Federal data from the CDC.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, Wayback Machine. If I say 3-in-1, what do you think of? If you're as old as me, you think of a particular lubricant product. 3-in-1 oil. Remember that? Speaking of 3, line 3, Justin's in Granite City, Illinois. Hey, Justin, I hear congratulations are in order.
Yes, sir. I am floating on air today. About 9:30 this morning, I was on the trap field on the 22-yard line shooting handicaps, practicing with one of my buddies at the gun club, and I finally broke 25 straight.
Congratulations. That is terrific. How long have you been shooting trap?
Well, I started shooting trap when I was 14, but I'm about the size of a gorilla, so stocks don't normally fit me that well. And I finally had a custom stock, or at least an adjustable comb, cut into my trap gun back in February. And it was done by Tom Larkin. It's the Stock Shop.
Okay.
Is the name of his company. And I actually called them up after I got back from the gun club and told them that because of them, I was finally able to do this. And
tell people what difference it made in having this stock. What did it do? How did it make your shooting better?
Well, because shotguns don't have a rear sight. Your rear sight is your eye. Mm-hmm. And if your eye is not aligned properly with your gun, it is not going to be shooting where you're looking. And with a shotgun, you don't aim it. You point it. Mm-hmm. And the way it was described to me is, if you point to a light switch across your room, you don't think about it. You just do it.
Right.
And if the gun is mounted to you properly, you don't have to focus on, well, where's my barrel to the bird? Or is it, is it sitting properly on me? All that stuff. You literally mount the gun the exact same way, what feels like, coming home to you. Mm-hmm. And you say pull, smooth transition to your bird, stay in the stock, and it just smokes them. And I've never been able to shoot this well in my life. And I want to call and give the field report of Tom Larkin and the stock shop, because he's finally made this happen for me.
That is terrific. Now, I've had guns fitted to me, and I know what you're talking about, shotguns, because in shotguns it is all important. There is a weird feeling I'd like to ask you about. When it starts happening and you're able to break targets, and people are going to think we're crazy here, you're breaking targets without looking down the barrel. You're actually just looking at the bird and pulling the trigger, and they blow up. Describe that feeling, because it's almost like weirdly magical. You literally just keep your hard focus on the bird, and you let your brain do what it knows it needs to do. Mm-hmm. It's just like the quarterback to the wide receiver. He doesn't think about where he's going to throw it. He just does it. Yep, exactly. He does, and that's what you're literally, you're making that cloud of pellets mate up with its wide receiver, the clay pigeon, and make that sucker disappear. Yep, exactly. Well, congratulations again. Great range report. Love it. Tom Larkin, Stock Shop. We'll give him a big shout-out for there. Hey, let's go down to line one. Scott's with us out of Carson City, Nevada. Hey, Scott, what are you picking up these days?
I had been watching somebody at the range shooting an AR and then left all of his brass laying around. Mm-hmm. And I had considered picking it up to use in my bolt-action 223.
Okay. My
question is if I pick up once-fired brass, and if it will cycle through my bolt-action, is there any reason I still need the full-length size, or can I just neck size those?
Well, that's a good question. If you are trying the brass, you pick it up off the ground, you get it clean, because, of course, the first thing is you got to get it clean. You don't want crud in there. And then you actually have tried the brass, and your bolt-action rifle will chamber it with no problem on an empty case. Is that correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Then, yeah, I'm following you. I don't know that you need to full-length resize. What I probably would do, I'm just thinking ahead here, and I'm sure you're probably with me, I would load it up and shoot them once, and then I would establish, because now you're going to fire form that brass to your chamber and your rifle. At that point, I would either go to full-length sizing or neck sizing, because it will be fire formed to your rifle's chamber. But, it's funny, because at first I was going to say, yeah, you need to do that, but since you've already thought this through and you know that the brass will chamber in your gun so it is not overly large, so it should work. So, no, I think you're okay. I would clean it up. I would probably maybe neck size it and then shoot it and then start sizing it accordingly for accuracy.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay. No, good call. And, hey, free brass. That's always a good thing.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
All right. You absolutely. All right. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to get right back to you. I got to take a quick break here. I'm Tom Gresham. The number here, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
I spy a black pickup truck. Oh, come on. How about something a little easier? Okay, I spy error-free forms, fast ATF processing, a 90-day money-back guarantee, and the largest inventory in the industry. I spy Powered By. That's right. With over 300 Powered By Silencer Shop retailers nationwide, there's always one close by. Is that easy enough for you? Ha! Almost too easy. Demand Powered By. Shop our industry-leading inventory at silencershop.com.
Since 1937,
Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water. But perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
It's America's favorite .22 rifle. No matter how, where, or what you like to shoot, there's a Ruger 1022 for you. From the carbine to the incredible takedown models, the tactical and target versions, all Ruger 1022 models have the legendary action and detachable 10-round rotary magazine. Whether you're hunting squirrels or tin cans, there's a lifetime of fun in every Ruger 1022 rifle. See them all at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro, designed for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light and featuring instinctive activation. Laser Guard Pro takes personal defense to the next level. Available now for the Smith & Wesson Shield. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you and to learn more about why Crimson Trace is making laser sights standard equipment.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Our new rifle ammunition line, featuring Hornady's extreme low-drag bullet design, is a big step forward in long-distance performance. When you want the ability to shoot way out there with accuracy, flat trajectory, and minimal wind effect, our ELD ammunition is the right choice. The high ballistic coefficients and Black Hills Ammunition carry manufacturer gives you the advantage. Black Hills Ammunition, the power of performance.
Well, we'll talk about all these defensive gun uses. Let's see. Where is this? I always have to figure out where the story is coming from, which is good. Let's see. California. I love it. Resident shoots man after he breaks in, threatens family. That'll work. A man who broke into a home in Stockton Saturday morning is dead after a resident shot him, the Stockton Police Department said. Officers arrived at the home at blah, blah, blah street. The resident of the home shot a man who broke into his home and made threats to his family. Okay, done, over. Carry on. Get on with the rest of your day. Every day happens somewhere, people using guns in self-defense. Most of the time, and one of the things people say, well, I would be hearing about that. Most of the time, nobody fires a shot. Let me repeat that. A successful use of a firearm in self-defense does not require you to pull the trigger. If you pull the gun out and point it at someone, and he or she stops and goes away, you win. No need to pull the trigger. And it probably does not make the news. Okay? Yeah, good point. And drawing does not mandate firing. Just because you drew the pistol doesn't mean you shoot. What you want to do is look for every possibility to not shoot. To avoid it, to get away from it if you can, to evade it, to stop them without having to shoot, to tell them to go away, tell them to stop, tell them to get down. And here, oh yeah, speaking of that, don't try to arrest anybody and don't try to capture anybody and don't try to hold anybody. If they want to run away, that's a good thing, because waiting for the cops while you're trying to hold somebody can be very dangerous. You're tunnel vision focused. You're not seeing anything that's going on the sides. And now, what are you going to do if the guy decides just to slowly start getting up and walking away? Well, I'm letting the guy walk away. I'm just telling him, get out of here. I'll let the cops go look for him. All right, let's go to the phones. Line 4, Vance is in Reno, Nevada. Vance, you got a suggestion for our caller?
Yes, sir. In fact, all of the callers. I don't know if you personally are aware of this individual, but the website is Oleg Volk, OLEGVOLK.net. I've been going to his site for about 6-7 years now. He's a photographer, and he grew up in the Soviet Union, and he's a U.S. citizen, and he is very pro-gun. He has a gallery of all of his pictures, and a good many of them are captioned, if I may give you a description of one.
Well, I've had Oleg. I've had him on the show here.
Oh, yeah, you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is in response to Mr. Green. So, Mr. Green, why don't you go to that website and get educated before you start speaking again?
Well, it's interesting when I had him on, he said, I grew up in the Soviet Union. I mean, like, we're not talking about Russia, we're talking about the Soviet Union, and where they took your guns away. And he says, when I got here, I realized I will never, ever give up my guns. And it's interesting. I've talked to a lot of people who grew up under communism. They say the same thing, never going to give them up. But he is an immensely talented graphic artist, photographer, and does these wonderful posters, kind of almost pre-meme stuff with really good messages in them. And I applaud you for bringing it up again. Oleg, it's OLEGVOLK.net. And you can see what he's doing. You can also Google Oleg. But good guy. And you know what's a good reminder? We ought to see if we can get him back on at some point. Thank you for the call, Vance. Appreciate that. Let's see. Franco is on 3 out of Mason City, Iowa. Franco, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing, Tom? Thanks for taking my call. Say, right after that horrible day a while back, you talked about, I don't know if you'd call it a gun owners, gun rights Bible or marching papers. You were going to try to put more pertinent and effective arguments together?
Yeah, I fell down on the job, but it's interesting you mentioned that because just this week I sent out a tweet for all the folks on Twitter, follow me, so they could download a copy of the Gun Controller's Bible, their go-to book, their messaging book, all the terms they use. They have the whole, if they say this, you say that. And when you look at it, and this thing came out in 2012, you realize that's what everybody's been using after the Parkland shooting. So every time somebody's interviewed, they're basically just talking from that book. And it reminded me that I had said this last month and said, I need to put together our version of that. And so shame on me, and thank you for reminding me that I am coming up short. I mean, I've let life intrude on life, but it's important, and I want to do it because there are, it's one of those deals, you got to know your limitations. There aren't a lot of things I can do, but one thing I can do is talk and write. I can use words. I can figure out how to do that. So I'm going to get to work on it. How would you use a book like that? What would you do with it?
Well, see, I drive truck. I've got 34 hours a week to myself. So I can't, go to the courthouse or the courthouses and capitals and all that, but I can with my DOT accepted headset. I can make phone calls with my smartphone. And I was wondering if you'd also possibly consider putting in every single phone number, writing address, email address of the people that we could call. I would call everybody once a week and keep on them.
It's
just need a little help because my job has got me so busy. It's just
It's an interesting idea. And technologically, you could certainly do that, and you could update phone numbers. Oh, man. I hate it when my brain starts working like this, Franco. I'm thinking, well, you could do an app so it's sitting there on your phone, and you could do it. And I'm going, oh, man. Now it's when I've greatly exceeded my understanding or my ability to do things like that. But I can start pulling together the messaging because I know we have tons of people who, and look, thank you for your call. I appreciate it. We have a lot of people who want to get involved. They are willing to fight the fight. They just don't know what to do exactly. And so you kind of fall back on what you know, what you've always heard. And we go back to our old tired arguments, which honestly are not very effective. I'm going to tell you, now it depends on who you're talking with, okay? The audience is key. But if you're talking to somebody who wants to restrict your gun rights, saying, but it's my right, has no impact whatsoever. They don't care. No, it's not even that they don't care. They don't think it is. They don't think anyone has a right to own a gun. In fact, I remember hearing a government lawyer at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals tell the judges, no one in this country has a right to own a gun. And they were all just dumbstruck. He said it. But he was with the Department of Justice. He says, no individual in this country has a right to own a gun. So when you're talking to people who think you don't have a right to own a gun, if you say, but it's my right, they're going, no, it's not. And so you're wasting your breath. We need more persuasive, more effective arguments like that. And I swear, I think the self-defense argument is the one. It's just a case of how do we position it, how do we arrange it, how do we present it, and who delivers the message. because I think that self-defense and saving lives with guns, and we have the new CDC information on that, is incredibly effective. 2.5 million times a year. That's a number for you. All right, got to have a plan, right? Got to have a backup plan. Steve wants to talk about that. Line 2, Omaha, Nebraska. Steve, backup guns. What are you thinking?
Yes, Tom. All this discussion today is completely related. 384 people are killed a day with a gun, but over 6,800 times a day we're successful in defending ourselves. That's why I carry a backup gun.
Okay, so what do you carry? How'd you decide on what to carry?
It's availability. It's just what I have. So I have a full-size 22, Glock 22, because I'm a big guy. I can hide that one. Mm-hmm. But my backup one is either an M&P Shield or a little Smith 637. Okay. But I'm thinking, I've been reading some stories about how, your gun runs dry, and if you, maybe it's malfunction, whatever you need the backup for. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, why not have another model of the same kind, or like a Glock 27, that's the magazines are compatible.
Right.
That way, you've got the same caliber, and pick a caliber, doesn't matter. But I just happen I've been a 40 guy forever, so I'm just sticking with it. And so, but a 17 and a 26 would have the same argument. 20 and a 29, they're all the same.
No,
so as long
I see where you're going here. Yeah.
Yeah. So because if I only have one backup mag, I want it to fit both the primary and the backup.
Nothing in the world wrong with that. And look, one thing you have to be careful about is getting really caught up in the whole internet ninja talk about, well, it ought to have this, it ought to have that, and this and that. And you're going, okay, now I can't walk because my pants fall down because I got so much junk. You know how that is. But if you want to go that way, there's nothing wrong with it. I would also offer this. If you have gotten to your backup gun, you're having a bad day already.
Yeah.
The chances of needing a reload on your backup gun, because let's just imagine, the chances of needing your primary gun are very, very small. The chances of needing a reload on your primary gun are a tiny fraction of that. The chances of needing to go to your backup gun are a tiny fraction of that. And then the chances of needing a reload on your backup gun, I don't think exist.
So minuscule.
It's so small. Now, having said that, somebody's going to say, yeah, well, I heard of a guy that, okay, great, you win. I'm done. You win. I get it. And honestly, here's a question. Do you reload? Jim says, do you reload your primary or do you go for your backup? I'm going to reload on my primary. I'm going to keep it in the fight because the primary is probably the better gun, the bigger, better, more powerful.
When I don't have my backup gun, I always have a second mag. So that's kind of like today, right now, I have a spare mag and I don't have a backup gun on at this precise minute. So to me, without carrying the backup gun, that backup mag is the backup gun because if I'm into 16, 17, 18 rounds now, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm having a bad day. If I run dry on the first 15, oh my gosh.
Or the thing jams up after the second round and your mag turns out to be junk and you got to rip it out and throw it away essentially and get your other mag back in. I generally don't carry a backup gun. Sometimes I do just try it now and then, but I always carry a spare mag. But, I like the fact that you're thinking about it and asking the questions. But if you go into the, percentages of a percentage of a percentage, you get to a certain point, you're going, okay, we're getting a little bit nutso here. But then again, that may be part of the fun of it. We're figuring it all out. And then I got my knife, and I got my machete, and I got my flamethrower, and I got my RPG, and I got my stinger, and I... Hey, join us for the after show. Give us a holler right now, 866-TALK-GUN. In the meantime, get out and do a little shooting this week. Have some fun. Please be careful. Watch out for those NDs. You know what we call those. That's negligent, not accidental. Have a good week.